Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good, good. How are you?
Oh, doing well. Oh, I'm actually.
Thank you.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
I
I
was
was
just
just
gonna
saying
say.
the opportunity for this and to about to give me the knowledge and everything.
uh, I appreciate it. Thanks for wanting to learn. And so, how do you know Kiende?
I knew him through like we were friends from high school and everything.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, and I was just speaking about like what I'm trying to start to do.
Sweet.
Like I want to get into the Airbnb like game and I was telling him about it and then he was like, "Oh, you should speak to one of the guys I know and he knows so much about it." That's where he gave me your contact and everything.
Oh, that's cool. Sweet. So, where are
Yeah.
you living now? Like Red Deer, Calgary,
Red Deer.
Red Deer. Sweet. Yeah, me too. That's where I am.
Sweet. And you're a realtor, right?
Yeah, yeah. I've been a realtor for 13 years. Started when I was 18. Um,
Is it like when you get your realtor license, do you have to essentially what is the total cost to becoming a realtor?
about 10,000.
Whoa. So it's like you can't just okay, okay. Is
Yeah.
there like do they provide like because I only know this, I'm only asking because one of my friends also was wondering how to get into it and how much it would cost. Is
Yeah.
there like some payment plans for people to get into them?
You can do it like more affordably. I believe the schooling costs about 4,000, but then by the time you're buying your are done buying your signs, lock boxes, business cards,
Mhm.
and then usually you're probably not going to make a paycheck for the first 6 months either, because even if you sell a house day one, you don't get paid until that person gets possession of their house, which
Yeah.
can be up to 90 to 6 months from when you sell.
Yeah.
So I always say it costs 10,000, but that's including not getting paid for a couple months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Good to know. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. So 4,000 is kind of like if you wanted to just do the schooling, and then
Yeah.
it's all online, so you can do it at your own pace.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
cool. So how
And
old are you?
21.
Ah, sweet, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Do you also run Airbnb as well?
Yeah. So like my mom started, I basically learned everything from my mom.
Yeah.
Um, she's been a realtor for 44 years, owned 45 houses. Um,
Wow.
yeah, she's a genius. So she was
Yeah.
doing Airbnb in Hawaii. She owns a condo in Hawaii, and I
Yep.
just kind of like followed along. She's a super host, and then she's got a place
Yep.
at Red Deer Lake, which is by Camrose, which is actually nowhere near Red Deer.
Yeah.
So she does Airbnb out of that. And then
Yeah.
my wife and I, we converted my basement suite that was earning
Yeah.
$795 a month into an Airbnb that earns $1,800 a month.
Holy, holy, hold on, hold on. Even in Red Deer.
Yeah, yeah. Down in Parkville.
So, wow. Like that was one of the things like doing the research on it, like you see these big guys in Airbnb and they're doing like Airbnb in New York, Toronto, Vancouver, these bigger cities. And then I'm thinking like, dang, should I really get involved with this? Because I'm from, Red Deer is really only 100,000 people here. What are the odds of someone really booking your place for that long and everything? How
Yeah,
do you find like occupancy?
yeah.
Like um is it fairly good like every month? Like, is it that consistent? Or do you have your rough, like you can go good 6 months and then, 1 month is just like no one.
Mhm.
Could that
Uh,
happen?
yeah, it definitely could happen. I was chatting with a friend today, and he said April was slow for him, May was slow for him. But then I've got others where they've booked the place for 3 months straight.
Cool.
And so if Airbnb earns double, triple, or quadruple what long-term rent does, if you get a three
Yeah.
month booking, that's
Yeah.
like 12 months of long-term rent in three
That's
months.
insane.
So it's kind of like a catch 22. It's like, okay, yeah, you gotta budget for it in case it doesn't happen, but if it
Yeah.
does happen, you've got a surplus.
Literally. And
Yeah.
what do you think about like, so you own your property and you like started it through your basement, but have you ever heard of like the Airbnb arbitrage, like
Absolutely.
rent?
Yep.
And what's your like? opinion on that kind of business model?
Yeah, I think it's great. Because it's what it does is that, yeah, it allows you, as you know, to get into the Airbnb game without owning the property. And so you just go to someone and say, hey, I'd like to rent your place. I'll give you a 2-year lease or a 1-year lease with an option to renew. And I'm going to pay you rent, guaranteed rent. And I'm going to be the world's best tenant. I'm going to put furniture in your house and I'm going to get extra insurance and I'm going to Airbnb the place out. I'm going to have cleaners check on it every 3 days. And then you're like, if you look at a long-term rent, how often does someone go in there? Maybe twice a year. But with
Mhm.
Airbnb arbitrage, you've got someone going in there every single time it's being cleaned. So it's
Mhm.
really good for the landlord because it's security for him. You've got eyes on the property all the time.
Mhm.
The risk is what if it doesn't rent? And then one of the things that you need to account for is how much does it cost to set up the Airbnb?
Mhm.
Um, I find it's about 12,000 to set up a 2 or 3 bedroom because actually the place that I'm standing in right now, I'm renting an Airbnb because our house flooded
Mhm.
and it's
Oh,
a yeah
it flooded?
yeah I got like sewer water all over the basement and so they're cleaning it up. It's actually
Oh,
a good thing.
okay,
Um,
okay. As long as it's good, right? Yeah, that's good.
yeah. And so they got 4 beds,
Yeah.
um, 4 nightstands, four dressers, and then basically it's a full house. So imagine
Yeah.
if you were gonna go move to a house and then you had to buy couches, beds, furniture, um, and you can't really go to Facebook Marketplace and just buy mismatching things. It's got to look like it's staged.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
so
IKEA.
yeah, go to IKEA and just buy everything. That's you can definitely do that.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And like when it comes to pitching the landlords, like you were saying, how how should you approach, like say for example, you're me, 21, um, just starting out pretty much that kind of business. And I would see from the landlord's perspective, you're young, yes, you're trying a new business, but how can I really trust you? You know, you're just a kid. How could you? That's what I've seen in other YouTube videos where young Airbnb arbitrage people have got into problems like that. So how would you approach that and pitch?
Well, their security is they have a lease. So if you don't pay, they can sue you.
Yeah, that's a big one. They can sue. They yeah, yeah.
uh, so you're going to give them a damage deposit as well. So 1 month's rent is a damage deposit.
Hmm.
And then it's really good security because you're going to say, hey, I'm going to spend a bunch of money on your place.
Yeah.
What tenant does that? They usually just bring their own stuff and they don't fix things. If there's like little nicks in the wall, you want it to be
Mhm.
pristine. So you're going to go in and
Mhm.
do little touch ups, maybe $20 in paint. Um,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, so I would say you'll have a lease, damage
Yep.
deposit, and I
Yep.
would say the words guaranteed rent.
Yep.
And then tell them that, yeah, you're going to have cleaners going in there probably 50 times a year.
Yeah. All the time, making sure everything's knit like spot on.
Yeah.
And I guess my next question would be like, um, how can I tell like this property? Oh, sorry, actually, no. How do I market for this kind of thing? You know, a property is a good investment.
Um, so two things. I would go to the website AirDNA
Okay.
and you can type in the address of a place that you're thinking of. So if you see one on Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace, and if you can get the address, you can punch
Yeah.
it in, and it'll say, okay, is it a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom house? And then it'll give you how much it should rent for on Airbnb.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah. Um, and then for marketing the place, Airbnb does all the marketing for you. Um,
Hmm.
so my mom has that place in Hawaii, and she
Yeah.
had this influencer messenger, and the lady's like, "Oh, can I stay in your Airbnb for free? I'll do marketing for you
Yeah.
for a whole week."
Yeah.
And so what she did, my mom, is she started her own page for her Airbnb, and
Yeah.
she's posted every single day for a year, and she
Yeah.
has made zero bookings off of it because
The influencer.
Airbnb, No, my mom started her
Oh,
own.
your mom. Sorry. Okay, my bad.
But Airbnb has kept it at like an 86% occupancy rate. Um, so it's
Yeah.
just like, so influencer doing other things or Airbnb, they just do everything for you.
So there's no point on, yeah. So Airbnb's got that marketing side. So
Yeah,
that's a check.
yeah.
That makes the thing much easier. Okay. That's
And
good
there's
for your mom, really. Your mom is a genius. You were right.
yeah. And there's like promotions you can do on Airbnb. So like if you, um, I had this one guy, he said, I'm renting for $100 a night, but if it's not renting, I'll reduce it by $20
Okay.
because if it rents at 80, I don't care about the 20 because I'm getting 80. I would have gotten zero.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so there's like promotions you can do. There's even just a button that says, um, like, uh, it's basically like a, yeah, promote my place. And what it does, it just reduces your nightly rate. And then it advertises, this is a special deal.
Okay. Um, what what have you noticed? Like, what are like the key factors that make an Airbnb like worth staying in considering yours as well?
So I'll show you this one. So I'm just in the basement. So you can see they've got like nice pillows. They've got nightstands with like flowers on it. There's
Mhm.
even artwork on the wall. Like my
Mhm.
my bedroom didn't have artwork on the wall, so it just looks good. Um,
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, your number one advertising is going to be your photos. So
Okay.
if your photos look good, Airbnb does the rest.
Photos is the key. That's perfect. Thank you.
My pleasure.
What do you think, like what things should I avoid when establishing an Airbnb? Is
Hmm.
there like is there like any unnecessary things that people tend to just add extra money on? Or is there like things that could be damaging when establishing?
Some people will understock their kitchen. So, like, you want frying pans and pots and cookie sheets because if
Yeah.
someone's coming and they're going to be with their family, like actually today, my nieces and nephews are coming over to bake cookies. So, if we didn't have
Yeah.
cookie sheets, it would have been too
Ruined
bad.
it.
Probably was still rented the place. Um, I would say the number one thing to do is be quick to respond to people's messages
Yeah.
because it shows on your profile your average response rate. Um,
Yeah.
and so if it's over an hour, um, people will be if it's over like a couple hours, they're going to be like, oh man, this host doesn't get back to us as often. Whereas if it's a quick response, even if you just go on there and say, hey, I'll find out that answer for you, that way it just keeps your response time good.
Yeah. So quick response, convenience is big, like making it very convenient for the people who are in there. And
And you,
okay.
you can find lists of stuff to buy. There's like Amazon shopping lists, and it has like 101 things that you need for your Airbnb, and you just copy paste and just buy everything. And you can even add it to your cart so you can see how much it would cost.
Okay, perfect. Um, should I get like insurance right away?
Yeah. um, so I actually have two basements that are flooding.
Okay.
One of them is my basement suite that I do Airbnb out of.
Yeah,
And if I wouldn't have had the proper insurance,
yeah,
so I have loss of rent insurance. So because I can't rent it out because there's crap literally everywhere, uh, Airbnb or sorry, insurance is paying me $1,100 to have my property sit there empty. So
okay.
that paid for my insurance for 10 years.
Good. Okay, so is there any insurance company just go up to them and then um try to get that insurance for the business? Okay, perfect. Um,
Airbnb comes with air coverage, which is its own insurance. So it's like $1 million liability. If someone died on your property, they'd pay it out. Or if they damage your property, you can actually get paid out as well. So their insurance is really good, but I just wanted that extra insurance just in case.
just in case, always, yeah, that makes sense.
And
Um,
paid off.
do you know what are some ways I could get funds for my like Airbnb? Because it is like a big investment. Is there any like, maybe secret kind of way that people generally don't know that they can generate extra funds besides their work or family investments?
So you could ask someone to partner with you. You can make a business plan and you can say,
Mhm.
hey, I found this property, or I found three properties, because you can just pull up three that look good and then run all the numbers on them.
Yep.
Um, oh, um, uh, I'm gonna text myself in the group chat to remind me to send you a spreadsheet, so then you can calculate all your costs.
Oh, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, my pleasure. So you can just fill that spreadsheet out, and then you can show them that their cash on cash return is like 24%. And then you could say, like, it's a safe investment. I just need $15,000 to buy all the furniture and have like a slush fund, in case there is a low month, you want to have a little bit of extra.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is great for real. And
And then you can use AirDNA to like make your spreadsheet look really good. You can take the stats off there. I think it's
yeah.
like 14 or 15 or $16 to use AirDNA. But if that lands you $15,000 from a partner, that's some good investment.
Yeah, 100%. And so you do it in Red Deer. Do you also have some in Cal like is it just in Red Deer or some in Calgary or Edmonton?
I'm currently just in Red Deer. My mother-in-law manages Airbnbs in Red Deer and Sylvan Lake, and then she also manages the Hawaii one and the Red Deer Lake one. Um,
Hmm.
so then I've got friends that do Calgary, Edmonton. There's one guy that I follow on Instagram, and he's got 24 in Calgary.
What's his name actually?
Um, I can't remember. I will text it in the group chat to remind me to find it for you.
Okay, thank you. And um how does your mom ever explain like because she lives here in Red Deer, right?
Yeah.
And how does she manage being in Red Deer in a way and manage an Airbnb in Hawaii? How does she that? How did yeah.
Yeah. My mother-in-law, so I've got my mom and my mother-in-law. So my
Yeah,
mother-in-law does the managing of it. So she does the contact with the guests and has the good response time. And
yeah,
then on island in the resort that they're at, there's
yeah,
cleaners that will do all the cleaning and like the in and out inspections.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's awesome. It's like, oh yeah, you want to book the place for 3 nights? Okay, sounds good. Hang up, call the
Yeah.
other guy. Okay, they're gonna move out this day, move in this day, and they just mark it down and they do it.
Is there like a certain app or website that provides these kind of because I did find one. I think it was called uh, Task. It's something Task a Finder, something like that,
Mhm.
where in Calgary or anywhere really, that's it's
Oh,
kind of like a skip. It's like it runs like Uber and everything.
that's
You
smart.
find people and they can do whatever jobs, move in, move out, set up whatever you want, they will do it. But I was just wondering if there's a different type of or a certain company that I should go to that's in located right near Calgary.
Well, that's a good idea. Like if you don't know anyone,
Yeah,
just reach out to them, find someone who responds back to you, because some people don't have a good
sure.
response rate.
That's true. 100%.
Yeah, no, that's a
Um,
really good idea. You can
and
chat with people that have Airbnbs in those locations too, and see if they'll send you their cleaner.
mhm, okay, for sure. And do you besides going on so let me get this right. So say I want to lease like a place.
Mhm.
So I'm on the internet, I go to Rent Faster or whatever it is, and I look at a property. So I take that address and I can put it onto AirDNA and
Yep,
they can show me how much I could possibly like that's what it does, like show you
yep.
how much you could possibly make and stuff like that. It's a good area. Oh,
Yep.
okay, that is way easier. That makes it and then all I have to do is just hit up that person. Hey, can we okay.
Yeah.
What do you think is like the best way to approach like a landlord through email or um
Um,
like say because I do want to live in Calgary,
mhm.
but should I be booking so I can meet them face to face and talk to them, or
Yes.
should I just stick to yes, just face to face?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like you look like a guy who's diligent, like you work out. And so if they can see you face to face rather than just getting an email, it's like this guy wants to do what? I've never even heard of this word arbitrage. And then if you're meeting with them and you're like, oh yeah, I'm starting a business, I'm gonna yeah, and just explain it to him, he'll be happy because most likely the last person that just came through the door smelled like smoke and it's like, oh yeah, I'm in between jobs. So he sees you and he's like, oh yeah, sign him up.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Um, I was just wondering, like, what um made you, okay, you said you started at 18 when you're doing starting real estate.
Yeah.
Besides just your mom, like kind of starting that foundation, but what made you keep on like doing this, like the drive? What gave you that drive to continue that?
Well, I was homeschooled, and my mom actually helped me buy my first house when I was 13 years old. She's a genius.
13 years. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. That's crazy. That is crazy. Good job.
Thanks. Uh, and so then seeing her like manage it and just like that it makes money and growing
Yeah,
up with it, being homeschooled and always like talking to mom about real estate, it's
yeah,
just kind of like in the DNA. It's like, oh, this is fun. Um,
yeah.
and then my mom's made like millions of dollars off of real estate. So that's fairly motivating as well.
That is 100%. Do you also have any regrets during your process as a realtor, like what things or even maybe habits that you don't want to wouldn't continue forward with? What would that be?
Um, well, I would say so. I've been a realtor for 13 years. For the first 7 years, my mom literally carried me. She, like, if it wasn't for her, probably would have not made it as far as I have. And
Mm,
then I went to Bible college and I realized how lazy I was because I'm in Bible college full time and I
yeah,
made the second most that I've ever made while
yeah,
being in full time Bible college. So I'm like, okay, I'm allocating 100 hours a month to this and I'm
yeah.
still making this. What was
A
I
lot
doing
of
with
money.
those 100 hours before?
It's just pretty much like a work ethic is what
Yeah.
like okay.
Yeah. And like, yeah, it takes a long time. Like I'm still learning. I set a lot of reminders on my phone.
Mhm. I just started doing that. Like, but we're always gonna keep learning, no matter what age we're at. There's always something, especially the way this world is and AI and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's insane. My what was it? Oh, sorry. But there's this one thing. Um, yes, here it is. So with Airbnb, like my general plan is to get into Airbnb and get the cash flow, but to put it into get into real estate and build like equity with that,
Hmm.
is that really a good transition,
Yeah.
or should I get my real estate like realtor license and you know do it through that?
Depends. Do you want to be a real estate investor or do you want to help moms and dads buy houses?
More of a real estate investor, but can you actually explain in depth like what a real estate investor is?
Yeah. So a real estate investor is just someone who buys a property
Yeah.
and makes money with it. So whether that's through Airbnb, long-term rent, subdividing, um, renovating, flipping, um, kind of like, yeah, anything that you're just making money through real
Oh,
estate because you don't need
yeah.
a real estate license to buy real estate. Um,
Yeah.
and like realtors are free. So like if you found a house that you wanted to buy, the realtor does all
Yeah.
the work for you for free, and the seller actually pays the realtor. So
Yeah.
like yeah, like realtors are free.
Oh, okay. What would you say is the like best kind of real estate investment
My
to
favorite is legally suited houses. That's where you've got like the basement suite downstairs and then the suite upstairs. And then if it has a double car garage at the back, that's like the perfect combo because you can rent out the garage, rent out the basement, and rent out the upstairs. Or if you're living in it, you live in upstairs and you rent out the other two bedrooms up there. and you rent out the basement, and you rent out the garage. And so you're
And
living, so there's just all this rent coming in, and you're like, "Ooh, I'm living for free."
what do you call that? You said legally
Legally
uh
suited. It's got like the basement suite.
sweet. I like that.
Yeah, they're my favorite. And every time you move into a house, um,
Mhm.
so every time you move into a house, you can buy it for 5% as a down payment. Most
Yeah.
people think you need 20% after your
Yeah.
first property, but every time you move into a property, you can get in for 5% down.
Is there a new law like you have to stay in that place for a year though?
Yeah, it's about the heart intent. I
Oh,
had a guy one time, he was buying a place, got transitioned to Calgary. He never moved into it, but his heart intent when he was buying the place initially was to move into it. And so the bank said, okay, yeah, sure. Even though you're not going to live there, we'll still honor the 5%.
hard intent, you said. Oh, so you oh, so you pretty much okay, get the hard intent covered, and then you don't actually have to live in the property, and then right?
Well, his was a special case because he got transferred to Calgary. So he's
Oh,
buying in Red Deer.
transfer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it
Okay.
was a legitimate reason.
And with like putting 5% down, would you suggest putting 5% down and then invest or 20, just
5% all
five?
day long. Because
All,
you could buy one property for 20% down,
yeah.
or you could buy four at 5% each.
Yeah. One for sure. This one. This one. Okay. That is, I think, I think this is, yeah, I pretty much, yeah, I had all these questions written down
That's awesome. Thanks for
and
being prepared.
oh yeah, and thank you for this time that you've given me and the knowledge that you've given me. You definitely gave me more confidence to get the ball rolling
Cool.
and to like start this. And I guess the last one would be like yeah, yeah. No, you answered it. You answered it. Now I remember. Yeah, but thank you
Yeah,
so much for this.
yeah, my pleasure. So a website that you can use for creating your lease when you want to do your rental arbitrage or your Airbnb arbitrage is Law Depot. So LAWDOP. No, wait,
Yeah.
how do you spell that? Law Depot. .ca. So
Yeah.
your first week is free. So basically, your first lease is free.
Yeah.
A clause that you're going to want to have, like a paragraph in your lease, is um, you could Google to find like a more uh, legal version of it, but it just basically says I'm allowed to sublease this property to someone else because that's kind
Yeah.
of what you're doing. You're subleasing it. You're the main leasee, but then you're leasing it to someone else just short term. So
Yeah.
we could even say, um, uh, I have permission to. Oh yeah, you could just say I have permission to put this property on Airbnb and rent it out on Airbnb. There we go.
Mhm.
That's simple.
Okay. Yeah. And so like when I contact these landlords, it's pretty much like a sales pitch. Like I go up to them and hey, have a discussion, tell them what I'm doing. And do I have to have a contract ready or
No, they'll
that?
probably have their own contract.
Okay.
But if they don't, um, or even if they have their own contract, like literally you could take their contract and right at the bottom, I'm allowed to put this property on Airbnb and rent it out on Airbnb. Um, and the landlord can't take this away from me.
Sweet. And is there like a, because I saw in some YouTube videos, there's some guys that actually do get 1 month to 2 months free of rent. Is
Yeah,
there a way or a certain way that you would know to acquire this?
yeah. Just ask. In this market, it's a little bit tougher. I
Yeah.
was renting a townhouse and it's ugly. It's my own property and it's ugly. um, and I posted it, and in 24 hours, I had 60 people inquire to rent my property, and I had increased the rent by 10%.
What? Uh,
So,
there's the, there's demand.
yeah, there's a
With
2% vacancy in Red Deer.
holy, that's really good. Like I was kind of scared. Like it seems like yeah, I was really scared that um I'll open this and everything, then maybe I may not get a call. I know that's a possibility,
Mhm.
but after hearing that you're that one example, the sky's the limit, it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun.
That's good.
Um, yeah. Um, and then yeah, if you're meeting with someone and they're like, hey, I found a property and I found someone to joint venture with me to like buy the furniture. Um, or if you have like questions about you can send your business plan to me and I can read through it and give you some advice too. Um, yeah, I'm on your team forever. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I remind me, I gotta one day take you out to coffee, man, for real. Like
yeah,
this
it'll
is
be fun.
it means a lot. And um I guess what would my last question is, what advice would you give me um going forward with this?
Mm, well, what's your goal? What do you want?
This year, I really want to because I've seen what others have been doing, and I'm I really want to get over it is big, but over 150, like
Mhm.
in a year's time, like of actual just solid profit for me, you
Okay.
know, and which is I don't know how much that is a month, but
Uh,
that's over 10K.
12. Yeah, it's over 10K.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the goal. Pretty much over 10K consistently profit per month, which is would be I don't know how many homes is that to be honest, but I just
Ooh.
know that's the goal I'm trying to get.
Mhm. Well, it'll be a fun exercise when you're looking at AirDNA, looking at properties, seeing what the cash flow will be, and then if it makes like $1,000 a month, then you would just be able to figure out how many that you would need.
Yeah,
It'll be fun. It's
yeah,
it's
this is
it's a game. It's like yeah, you just have fun with it. Like uh, yeah, it's fun.
yeah, it, it really is. It really got me pumped and excited to go on and do this for real and like build imagine like building having all these properties even though they're leased, but then after it's just gonna be rinse and repeat. Once I really got it down, it's just gonna be rinse and repeat, and then everything's just gonna flow easier into other real estate, uh, property investments and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, compounds. There's some guys that will rent just a bedroom for $67 a night. So what's 60 times 30 nights? That's 6, 12, 18. That's 1,080, no, 1,800 a month off a bedroom.
Just one room. Well, I'm saying like there's so many people making a lot of money in the ways that you don't really like. I genuinely didn't really think about like imagine just one room, 66, and a guy's clearing 1,800 a month. No, that's crazy. That's
Some
crazy.
oil field guy that's only there for 2 weeks and just wants a place to store his crap. And
And then boom, now he's getting money. So there's always opportunity for money and for growth. You just gotta find it. That's what, and I love hearing stories about like this because it just gives me so much confidence to keep going and keep going and keep going.
there's a 6 bedroom house in Red Deer.
Mhm.
So 6 times.
That's what you did it on a bedroom house. Wow.
This is just like hypothetical.
Okay, then still, he could be killing the game right now.
See, I need 2 properties now instead of 50.
Oh, would you say getting apartments or pretty much full houses, what would you do if you were, I guess, starting rental arbitrage?
I'd probably go for a townhouse that didn't have condo fees. Townhouses are cheaper, and because it doesn't have condo fees, it means it doesn't have rules. So some condos don't allow for Airbnb or short-term rentals.
Mm,
So that's when your realtor comes in handy. You just say, "Hey, does this one allow for Airbnb?" And then, like, there's actually one right across from Bower Mall. It's a $95,000 condo, and that condo building is one of the very few ones that allows for Airbnb. So great location, close to the highway, close to Bower Mall, and it's
yeah,
cheap. It's only 95,000.
yeah.
Um, you could paint it, put new flooring in there, and put some furniture in there, and make like what I do, 1,800 off of it. Instead of if you're renting it, you'd be getting like 1,100.
You can paint and even take out the flooring, even though you're just like someone that's leased it.
Sure. Because your landlord's going to be stoked. You just made his property worth more.
That is true. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So like that freedom too is very beneficial to make it look nice, make it look like it's a whole IKEA, you know, a picture. Um, is there also, I feel like there's some expenses that unnecessary expenses like that I'm kind of worried about that I might step into. Would you do you think of any maybe like the TVs? It doesn't generally have to be, 50. I know it doesn't have to be the biggest TV, the most like the
Yeah.
QLED Samsung and all that, but um what would you say is an expense that you don't really need to be worrying about?
Well, if you got $12,000 to play with, it should cover everything. Um,
Yeah.
um, because like you got toilet paper and those little cute bottles of shampoo. um, but Amazon has it all. You buy a pack of 100, and that lasts you 100 bookings, which is like $30,000 in revenue. So that you'll have enough revenue to buy more little bottles of shampoo.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%.
is it all right if because I was recording this video, is it all right if I use it as marketing? Sort of like chop it up and turn it into reels? Would that be okay with you?
Dude, yeah, 100%.
Cool,
100%.
sweet. Thanks for being okay with that.
Yeah, and what's your account too? So I can when I don't have Instagram right now, but do you have like a I know when I because I'm just really focused on getting this 100% ready. I'm trying to stay away from like social media for a minute.
That's
When I
awesome.
do come back, so I can keep watching, learning and learning and learning through that.
Yeah. Um, I will text it to you.
Okay, for sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. I only got 2 minutes left on this because I don't pay for Zoom. So I'll send you that spreadsheet, and I'll send you my the guy that does the 24 Airbnbs in Calgary. So when you're back on Instagram, you can follow him. And yeah, we'll be in touch.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. And how do I say your name?
Salamani.
Salamani?
Yeah, actually, sorry. I get confused sometimes because my real name is Suleiman,
Hmm. Suleiman.
but just on my government, I usually sometimes I say Salamani, but Suleiman is my real name.
Huh, that's cool. Suleiman. So are you from where are you what's your
I'm
origin?
I'm originally like Rwandan
Oh,
from
cool. I've been
Rwanda.
to Rwanda.
Really? No
Yeah.
way, man. I just
Uh,
I just came back actually 2 months ago. I was in Rwanda.
oh, sweet. That's awesome. Been there
But
twice.
you've been there twice?
Yeah. It's
Kigali?
beautiful there. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
Kigali, and then Kamembe, and yeah, couple places.
Good. How'd you like it?
Dude, it's beautiful there. Like, just it's humid. Like, you got
Yeah.
yeah, like it's so tropical.
Honestly, it was a good time. And then, but I was born in South Africa, Cape Town.
Cool. Huh.
Yeah, and I moved there when I was like 4. Yeah, I've been Red Deer all my life.
Okay, cool. That's
What
awesome.
about you?
Born and raised in Red Deer.
Yeah. Do you ever like plan on moving away from Red Deer, or do you like this is where you want to be?
This is where I'm going to be for foreseeable future. Um, yeah,
That's
I
good.
yeah, I I'm pretty planted.
That's good. No, Red Deer is like one thing I'm very thankful for is yeah, Red Deer really did bless me away from a lot of bad things, especially knowing what went down with a lot of people from I know from Edmonton and Calgary, like the way they grew up is very, yeah, I was very blessed. Like me and my friends always talk about how there's just there's a different type of uh just culture that's there and you don't really grow there. You're seen as one type of person and you be that type of person. And it's like Red Deer it's a small city or small town, but it keeps you looking ahead and to more opportunities and learning a lot actually. So yeah.
I think it says more about you